I was just gonna ask, what position do you play? What rank are you? I cannot tell based on this game. What's going on?
Uh, oh yeah, I'm Legend 3.
Okay.
I've been floating like anywhere from like here to like one game from Divine or from Ancient for like I don't know, last couple months.
Okay.
Um Teetering there. Um yeah, I play Offlane and 4 right now. When I first started playing, I just played carry a bunch. Um
Hmm.
Probably played carry until like high Archon, mid Archon, and then got pissed off that the map shrunk so much so quickly, and then just started playing Axe.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's kind of been the trajectory.
All right. How long have you been playing Dota for? Long time?
Um, I've only been playing like Dota like I played when I was like a kid and whatnot, but I only seriously or started taking it seriously or even had a developed brain like for like 4 years maybe.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think I have a lot of very structured opinions about Dota. So I don't know if you want to spend any time talking about that, but I have a pretty clear like viewpoint of how I play this game.
Okay. Um, what? Sure. Give me like a summary, kind of what you're thinking about.
Yeah, um, I think this game is like, well, this is ebbed and flowed. This is where I'm at currently, but I think at low MMR, like all the way to divine, um, you can just farm better. And that's a generalized statement. Like that's a not very actionable statement as far as like you're in a game and everyone sucks, right? Like, okay, that just has to be a game you lose. But I think in general, just like, yeah, it's kind of like scary to me how people don't farm at all. I think that is true for 2 and for 3 as well. And that's like probably one of the biggest misunderstood things. So as far as like my actions in Dota as an offlaner, um, quick thing is, yeah, I started playing offlane because I was like, damn, they always just lose, and I'm pretty good at laning, so I know I can just win as an offlaner and then just snowball the game. Did that for a while at like low legend, whatever. Played like characters you have to buy earn against basically, and was like, they're not gonna buy earn, I'll just win and like get way too big.
Uh,
Did that for a while. It's pretty successful, and then um, I think I just ended up like TPing to too much stuff in my grand scheme of things. Maybe not at higher level Dota, but at this level, it's like not worth the risk of your team playing badly, basically.
hmm.
So now I have a very basic script. I try to win lane. I think that's probably my strongest part in general, on average. Obviously, I lose lanes.
Hmm.
Um, and basically, from there, if I take the tower around 10 minutes, 13 minutes, 14 minutes, I think 15 is when it starts getting sketchy.
Hmm.
Um, I really make this quick decision of like, did I win this lane or did I lose this lane? And if I'm, and that's basically like, can someone just come kill me? Um, if I won the lane, then it's my goal to just shove it into T2 over and over and over while farming backwards, warding the cliff right next to the T2 and the Watcher, and warding their jungle, on the safe lane side, their safe lane side, and then just doing that over and over and building a net worth lead, um, reserving my TBs for cleanups, basically. Um, like really hesitating to TB to stuff where it's not obvious that we'll win. If I lose, I will transition to jungle, um, like ancients and whatever, and then just push until, wait until our lane gets pushed in. And at that time, I'm very aware at any time based on if the people supporting me leave, or if like everyone really wants to TP safe lane over and over, or if the enemy team decides to just slam their face against something. I'm very fluid in deciding this is a win or loss. You know, like it can change back and forth even if you lost the lane initially or won the lane initially. And that's basically that's my overarching macro as an offlaner.
Okay. Interesting. A lot of that makes sense. I think there may be situations that could happen where that like doesn't neatly fit into that, but you know, that's I'm sure that is a complicated game. What hero are you this game?
I'm Axe.
You were the Axe.
Yep.
Okay. Well then let's take a look. I will, I don't know if you watched any of my other coaching, but I will let you know what I'm seeing and small things, big things. I also usually like to point out what people are doing well also, or like what I would also do. I think
Yeah,
you can obviously
totally.
ask any questions that come up.
Totally. Yeah, I was hesitant to even say anything because I didn't want to like bias your direction, but yeah, sounds great.
Cool. So probably against Drow Lion. So just think about your starting items. I think they're okay. I don't know if anybody still does this. Sometimes when you're against like a hero who's gonna right click you a lot, like a Drow. Oh, it's a Tinker. Oh, interesting. You can start like you can go for like Wraithband instead of Bracer.
Yeah.
Okay. We're trying to creep aggro. Didn't get the range creep, but it'd be kind of hard to get. Okay.
Yeah, and this double melee lane, I was just like, I'm gonna give it.
Yeah, for sure. It's reasonable. I think what you've been doing so far has been pretty good. Given your position 4 is not really contributing, which is just life. It was really good. It was actually really good what you've done so far. It's definitely more important to like pull these up as far in the lane as you can. I can tell you're thinking about the Lotus.
I'm actually just doing this so I can deny the range creep.
Oh. Hmm. Given where you are and the fact that Drow's doing this, it doesn't actually matter that much because, like, if you have the melees meet right outside of tower range here and, like, you don't draw aggro, right, you just chill, like, this wave is gonna meet your wave, like, here again. So you're gonna, like, the lane's gonna be here for the next, like, 2 waves at least.
Yeah,
Which
that's fair.
I think, I guess we'll see. Does this work?
Yeah, there's a chance I'm accelerating their push too much.
Right. Yeah, see, they have big wave here. So, I mean, I guess that worked out fine. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we could just be doing all this here. Yep. Is the only difference. You did get that creep. A little aggressive. I like that you're just getting the creeps, though. Okay, so now we're pushing with them. Could consider just, like, auto-attacking this down and shoving it into the tower right now. Because it's kind of what happens anyways, but, like, shove extra hard. I guess this camp is blocked and you don't have it to pull. Drow doesn't see us under tower that well, although I guess you guys dive in. So, okay. Alright. A little more damage than we would have liked here. Look at that. Trying to decoy our own pull. It's offlaner. It's hog gameplay. Oh no, 3 tower shots. Okay, not seeing anything like crazy wrong with how you're playing, which is why I'm speeding through all this pretty quick.
Yep, no problem.
Like this all looks pretty good.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Our position 4 left, unfortunately. phase boots. Yeah, it's kind of annoying to like just play against Drow. Wow, we just let you walk up to him. Cool. Okay. It's a good attempt. If my pause 4 is like kind of a roamer guy who's not going to be playing here, I am happy to like, especially against like a core, like your core to core matchup is not particularly good. I would be happy to like kind of start shoving this out as fast as possible, and then like, you know, doing like a jungle camp or something, and then coming back to the lane.
Yeah.
Kind of like stop laning. Like here, like I'll just like defensive aggro these creeps onto me, and then just like hit the creeps down, right? Because like I've got like with counter helix, like I just want the creeps to attack me to kill the wave super fast. Instead of like,
Yeah.
right, you're just like letting the creeps fight and then last hitting. But like I don't want to be doing that here against a Drow. Just kind of, it's just like not that efficient because he's gonna get denies, and also like I don't want to be here because my support's not here. And you could just be accelerating your farm by like not engaging in this and like kind of clearing this quick. Like maybe he denies a couple, maybe he doesn't, and then like, you know, go jungle. You could skip like back here because like Tinker Drow, if they're gonna come try and kill you off that, like that's like Drow's gonna miss like a ton of creeps.
Yeah.
And, like it's not, especially if you have a TP, it's like pretty much impossible for them to actually come kill you unless you like really mess it up.
Right.
You don't have a TP, I guess, but. And yeah, this just comes down to like knowing whether you want to be in this lane or not. And like thinking about the core to core matchup. Like you've been doing pretty well and like you're higher level than this guy, but like still, it's like, you know, like this is just like on average, this just like isn't gonna be that efficient for you to like kind of just chill here and do normal stuff.
Yeah. Like maybe if I rush Vanguard, this would be different, but
Sure.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Exactly. Yeah, but like you could be getting all these creeps and then just like mixing in a camp. Like mixing in a camp every like other wave, you know?
Yeah.
Middle tower is
I mean, I guess you're like getting denies on this guy, but like what I'm also afraid of is like, you know, like I mean we see him right now, but like somebody just like Lion or Primal Beast just shows up and like ganks you if we're just like sitting here outside of this tower. Like as any core, whether you're carry or off lane, like if you're like in a situation where you're not super stoked about it, like I don't like just waiting and like hoping nobody shows up to punish me.
Yeah. Totally.
Kind of do this and like kind of take more control of like what's going on. Yeah, so you're kind of like doing this. Oh, I guess Spirit Breaker's coming. Yeah, that's fine. Spirit Breaker wants to come and connect on that. That's obviously really good. Never mind. So this all look pretty good. Got our phase boots. Blade mail. Also, like in these situations where you're actually doing pretty well, like their carry's liable to be like complaining and begging his team to like come kill you.
Yeah.
You know,
Totally.
which makes me just less happy to like just be sitting here hoping nobody shows up.
Yeah, I think it's a good call out to just say it is a hope. It just like when, you know, people dive this tower and say like, hopefully no one TP's in.
Yeah, like that play you just did. Like, are you ever killing that guy with that play? No, but like, at a higher MMR, like they'll kill you for that play.
Right.
Okay, keep skipping a bit. Okay, wow, they really have just decided they're never helping this Drow. Oh, they finally showed up. Yeah, I would. I mean, I guess this is how your games go, because like you have been acting that afraid. Oh, we're dead. Unlucky. Okay. Yeah, so that's whatever. You should add a TP, honestly. That's the only thing that would be different about that. You didn't have a TP for like ever.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Okay, we got our blade mail. All these back top. Really just want to run this Drow.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's
Yeah, and like running the Drow's not bad, but kind of like to what you were saying, like if you can just outfarm the enemy, you know, there's like a line between imposing your superiority because you're like winning the lane and you're like stronger, and then like forcing it, because you think you can, because you think you're stronger. Like, you can play stronger and more aggressively when you're winning the lane, but like you can also play really efficiently and not worry about trying to kill the guy, and then not put yourself in dangerous situations, and still continue to like way out farm and outscale them.
Yeah, I think it's like a misread on kill threat, basically. Like, yeah, sure, if I'm playing Mars or something, I have ult, like, do whatever the fuck you want, just kill that guy. But,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, this is pretty good.
Yeah, I guess in this situation, it's just like, hopefully she lets me run into her again.
Exactly. I like this. Spirit Breaker's connecting. Very cool. That was just kind of an example of him playing way too far up in the lane. Just here, I would pay attention to the timer, because there's like a creep wave right here.
Yeah.
So like after you do this camp, I would just come and do this creep wave, and then come down and do what you're doing. Do you do this camp and then go to the creep wave? No, we're probably just trying to jungle camp. Now we're doing the creep wave. Yeah, which is all right. This would just be pushed in slightly more. This would have gotten to here, and then you'd like see their tower. Slightly better information. Like in this exact scenario, it's like not that important and not a big difference, but every little bit of extra information helps. Like this is really good. Like, cutting this wave is excellent. Yeah, I kind of see how this like fits into what you were saying in the beginning.
Yeah, like this is my happy situation. I think. Yeah.
Okay, so we back up. Chilling. We do have our blink, so we are strong. Our SF is also really strong. So at this point in the game, I've already gotten their tier 1 mid. I guess we've gotten all their tier 1s already. Like, I would not be opposed to you grouping up and fighting with your team. But it has to be like in a smart way, like diving a tier 2 or going on a support right in front of a tier 2 is like not how you want to do that. But
Totally.
You are very strong, and your SF is very strong, and your supports or whatever will help, and then Troll can either help or hit creeps as he desires. So I guess we'll see kind of how this proceeds. But like if we stay split up forever, like eventually they might just like smoke and come kill us or something.
Right.
Like if we're really strong and we don't dictate the pace, like eventually they'll do something to try and like yeah, so this is like dumb. Like what your team's doing is dumb. We're trying to come over and maybe help. Okay. Just try and... Oh no. Somebody told me they fixed this replay bug, but I guess they didn't.
Jeez.
Alright, I have to close it and reopen it.
Yeah, no problem.
Like 18-ish minutes.
So how much of I'm just curious, the budgeting coaching do you do?
Not too much these days. I've never had anybody like who saw that on the Dota like reach out about it, but I kind of have I'm like on a coaching directory for the website, so like people reach out to me about that, but I don't do it so much these days. I was doing it pretty consistently for a while, but
yeah.
I don't like advertise really, so just like whoever calls, I'm like, okay, let's do it. That's usually it.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. Back to 18 minutes. Also, what your team does here is like, if you guys are not cohesively grouping up and doing something in a coordinated way, and then like you have influence on that, can hopefully make it like not a dumb play, your team might eventually just make dumb plays, which is what this was. Like, I guess this Drow Ranger is kind of far up. Well,
yeah,
they go on the Drow.
This is like the trickiest, like that aspect that you just described is like the hardest thing to reason about, right? As an offlaner, like as a support, I'm much more in tune of like, I'm watching my core and I realize that he's like either super thirsty or like a giant baby. and like then I can be like, oh, this player plays like this, plays like this. As an offlaner, I don't get that read as quickly, right? Because I'm doing stuff. And in general, I have trended towards like, I guess it depends. I probably didn't make the read that like this SF is way ahead. He's probably good or like relatively good. But I would say in general, I trend towards like I'm gonna get even bigger. Like I'm gonna get my BKB basically.
Right. I would say that I think unless you like know your team's getting like stomped while you're having a good game, I think the correct thing is to like get this blink BKB and like immediately start thinking, how do I like get into this game right now? Like what do I need to do to like make a smart make smart plays, and like continuing to farm happily over here is like not really sufficient unless something about the game is telling you that like you can do nothing because like your mid and your carry got like stomped in lane, right?
Yeah.
But if that's not the case, like once you have this, your main question has to be like, okay, like what can I do with this? And like this all games are different, right? Some games you won't have any of their tier ones, you'll have yours but not theirs, and then it's like, okay, maybe we make a play around mid. Or like some games they'll be pushing your tower and it's like, okay, I'm gonna defend this tower. And like in this case where you're like kind of ahead and you have like your mid and like they don't have their towers, it's probably just like a smoke play coordinated looking somewhere down here or like maybe in a triangle just based off your guys' vision. But it's just like a coordinated smoke play, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
what we don't want to do is like, and this is the worst part of the map to like try and make a play. And like I get the Drow is showing alone, that's why your Spirit Breaker went in. But like this is the kind of thing we'd want to avoid. And so by proactively getting into the game ourselves and then like choosing not to do this play, or like if you're gonna do it, like right, this play that your Spirit Breaker did, if you had like preemptively like TP'd up here or like I don't know, gated and then started walking this Drow, like if everybody's here and this is gonna be like a quick pick into a big fight where everybody's here, this is good. But like your team's doing this without you, who's like, you know, top 3 net worth in the game, and you're like giga strong at this phase in the game. So yeah, and then at this point, this is already bad because you already lost 2 heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna lose your SF. That was like a really bad fight. And like, okay, should you have shown up to this at all? Honestly, I probably wouldn't have, given that like you were like here when it started. Like it's just so far. I'm gonna be like, okay, my team's gonna do whatever they're gonna do, and like I'm just gonna like farm and cut this wave and like farm. Yeah. Unlucky. Yeah. It's really unfortunate occurrence. And the only, like I said, the only way you can really control that is like by doing something like, because you are super strong, so like doing something in a coordinated way that like you're kind of either calling the shots on, or like it's a play that you've agreed to in advance because your team like called out for it and you're like, okay, let's do that.
Yeah. In my mind there, I'm just like, it's so difficult to think about those decisions as a, like, what's the spread on it and how do I gain MMR? Because in my mind, I'm like, God, all of you guys are like so strong that, like if an SB is behind someone and like Coddle is behind the SF or something, like, and we have reasonable vision, like no one should die. Like everyone should be able to farm super hard right now. And it's just like what you're describing of like someone's just gonna do something stupid because like we're ahead and they don't want to take advantage of it through farming. They want to take advantage of it through killing, and it's just like a pressure cooker until someone fucks up.
Yeah.
But I'm always like, we could just like all get our BKBs pretty easily.
Potentially, yeah. Okay, so I don't really understand what you've been doing these last couple seconds. Like you TP'd in mid, which I got because there was stuff kind of happening, and then nothing happened. and then you like smoked yourself and you like came and placed a sentry? Or... Okay, so we die. So like stuff's happening and you're watching, so we TP mid, which makes sense, but then like nothing happens. So like here, like given that nothing is happening, like the only correct play I think is just like go hit some creeps. Like I would just go jungle and wait for them to like push. And like at this point, now that we've like lost a big fight, we're like not as ahead as we were. So like now, like I'm like, okay, like I'm either in defend my tower mode, like I would like to defend this mid tower, unless they get like 2 pickoffs before they push it, right? But if like you're all 5 alive, like I think you defend this tower if they try and push it. And otherwise you're like kind of farming until your troll has like another item. So
yeah, that sounds about right.
And like maybe you can do smoke play, but like the only heroes that really like, because you have a Spirit Breaker, like he's not going to be like smoked with you, and like Coddle doesn't offer a ton to like a smoke. Like he's not enough damage to follow up with like Axe Control. So like really your only options to make plays this game are like with SF, or like you and Coddle somehow have to follow up on something your Spirit Breaker, like some Spirit Breaker charge. It's like kind of an awkward Axe game, I think, at this phase in the game, because like you don't have like Sky or a Lion or a Mirana or just somebody that adds like a bunch of magic damage to like your play. So yeah, I don't really understand what you're doing here. I mean, it's not, I guess it's not like the end of the world, but like why would you just come randomly sentry here?
I think in my mind, the next part is I totally hate the next call, but I think here I'm just saying like I'm planning on playing this space.
So
I was probably preemptively like
I see.
Walk through this check.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be kind of more dangerous for you to come down here and farm and do what you were doing before, just because you guys just lost that fight, and the Primal Beast is huge.
Yeah.
This guy is massive. It's got 2600 HP at 20 minutes. So yeah, I mean, I guess I get what you're doing. Like I said, like to me, right, I want to be farming this and then defending this, so they're pushing, and now we're like we've kind of gone back to what we're doing before without adjusting. And this is sort of what I was thinking in terms of like exceptions to that plan you were laying out in the beginning of the game, right? Like exceptions to, oh, like I just want to farm and like get my items. Is like, what if you want to defend your mid tower while they're pushing it? Like this is not something you want to write off. And like, yeah, maybe if you were standing right here, you can't just like go on this Primal Beast right now, but I mean, you and SF actually do probably kill this guy, or it's like very close, especially if your Spirit Breaker charges in. Like, you guys can't kill this guy. He is killable, right? Like, if you blink call this guy and your SF blink ults him, and Coddle uses all of his shit, right? Like, he does die. So, like, I want you to... I guess the way I would say this is, like, once the laning stage is over... but before like there's like the mid game where a carry has 2 items and he's ready to fight, or we're ready to do Roshan. You kind of want to just like take their towers if you haven't already, and like you have, and then otherwise just like defend your towers. Like defend your like mid tower. Like this is an important tower, and we're not like they're not way stronger than us, so like we want to defend this tower, and like. If they're not pressuring you, then like, yeah, you can just keep farming and get your items. But if they do decide to pressure you, we do want to like defend these towers.
Yeah, I do have a question about that, because I think that's really interesting. Because I do think I've written off this tower in my mind. I think generally speaking, at this point in the game, at 20 minutes, I'm like, oh, they haven't taken our T1 tower. Like, great. But also just like, fuck it. When it goes down, it'll go down. Do you value like the map control this tower brings, or are you thinking like, oh, it's more about the fact that like whether or not we defend the tower or not, they're exposing themselves in for a bad team fight, basically, because they're grouped around this tower?
It's definitely both.
Yeah.
Like in a even even-ish game, whether you're slightly behind or ahead, like towers just give an innate advantage. Like that, like if they're pressuring a tower, like they have to show where they are and you don't as you're like setting up to defend. So like it gives you an advantage in that way to like start a fight on terms that are like easier for your team. Given that, you know, all 10 heroes are alive and like nobody's like already dead. And then the map control that this tower provides, mostly in the sense that like their wave can never be here if this tower is alive, you know, because if their mid wave is pushed to here, that gives them a lot of information about where you guys are or are not. Versus if the tower only gets pushed to here, you know, like yeah, usually you guys will have a hero here, but it's even if you didn't, like the tower would be stopping the creeps from going forward, I guess. And like given that you have a tower and they don't, the lane on average is more going to be here, which is very good for you guys. Versus if you both don't have a tower, it's usually just going to sit around here somewhere with the potential to be pushed in. So it's very important to hold the tower for map control purposes. Also, the so like the safe lane tower, not so much. This tower does not do a lot for you guys, and that's why usually like in a lot of my, I will very often tell people like don't go to any crazy lengths to defend this tower after a certain amount of time. It's not worth it. Alternatively, the mid tower, like if it's not taken super early, it actually becomes very hard to take because it's such an easily like you've got like trees to hide in to like defend. Like it's so open and exposed here. Like the enemy, if they're trying to take this tower, has nowhere to like hide. They're like fucking standing out in the middle of nowhere. Like you see everything, so it becomes very hard to effectively take this tower as the game goes later. Like there's this like weird, like if you don't take it early, it gets super hard to take like late. And this is something I always found in my games, even like, you know, I think probably maybe more so the more you get to higher MMR, but like people will like really put emphasis on defending this tower and make you really work for it. If you're not like already like, you know, if the team's way ahead, or if a team like gets way ahead later on in the game, yeah, it becomes not that hard. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the mid tower. So I put heavy emphasis on defending this tower unless we're like down heroes, and like we know we can't defend it without like losing more heroes.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Totally did make sense.
Okay.
I also think like, yeah, because I think I also I don't care about the safe lane tower. And I've been thinking about it recently, and I think the map things you caught out are totally true. As far as how it orients the fight, I think another thing that is different is that like at the time where you're generally forced to make the decision whether you want to defend T1 safe is like when no one has a blink yet, when their offlaner just hit their power spike, and it's just like, well, what are we gonna do here? Like, how are we really gonna defend it?
Exactly. And like if you just think about defending the tower, like the enemy can like run around in trees behind it. They can like kind of be in this area, which you wouldn't normally have vision of if they're in a position where they're like threatening a push. So like it's a lot harder to like see what they're doing. And like if anybody in your team is gonna come, they kind of have to like TP in. It just doesn't tend to work out as well.
Yeah. Great. This next call is a disaster. I like feel embarrassed about it.
Yeah, this doesn't do anything. I was going to talk about this too, not to the same extent we just talked about the mid tower, but like this is like a follow-up damage thing. Like it's not that you can't go on the lion, it's that like you doing this alone makes no sense because you just don't do any damage.
Yeah.
And this is a weird game. Oh, hey, look, your team killed the primal beast. I mean, overall, it's a good trade. Oh, well, your Coddle died, but yeah, just keep in mind when you're playing Axe, like, who am I playing with to, like, help with my calls? And this is a very weird game where it's, like, probably your SF. It's, like, it's usually, like, a support, but in this game, like, oh, crap. Okay. Alright, we're good. Usually it's, like, a support, but in this game it just happens to be a core.
Yeah.
Oh, this was before.
Yes.
Okay.
For a little.
Go, we die. Sorry, I'm just like jumping around all over the place right now.
You're good.
Okay, so we're going for BKB. Defense. Stuff's happening mid. Yeah, normally I wouldn't love TPing there. There was a big wave. My main thought in like being that TP is like I might need to run back mid and defend the tower if they like try and push it again.
Totally.
Which they're not, which is fine. Okay, so yeah, you like kind of like to come put your own words here. I kind of like this honestly for pubs. Like this makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, so we're showing here. I like watching what you're doing, but I'm also like watching the minimap.
Yeah.
And like,
totally.
do I need to participate in anything going on? Okay, yeah, like, there's stuff happening. You're burning a lot of your team smokes. Just something to consider.
Yeah.
Like use the one earlier and the one now. This one is a little better, but like I get what you're going for. It just is an axe. I mean, I guess in this game actually it matters less because you're not really smoking up and ganking a lot the way your lineup works. But on average, if you're doing this in other games, like it'll be better if you just like grew up with your team in smoke as opposed to like using it solo to like try and use it only for yourself.
Yeah.
Wow, you hit the sniper and not the lion there. That's crazy. Okay. So I don't really mind what you did. You kind of like try to grab other heroes while their team were feeding. We go back in on the sniper. Oh, the drought. Okay. Nice. Okay. We've won the fight. I guess, are you hanging around to go for the lion? Is that what's happening? So we're still trying to get the lion. I guess we're going to. Okay, we've won the fight. What should we do?
Yeah, at this point, I'm trying to poke this T2 for as much as I can, and then like split up farm.
Okay. There's only one thing wrong with that, and is that you shouldn't be trying to poke the C2 for as much as you can. It's just split up and farm. This opportunity, like when this happens, like the only thing that matters off of this is to like reset so you're ready to fight again in like 40 seconds. So
Yeah.
like for you, I mean, you don't need to do too much, honestly. If you just put these tangos in your inventory, you're probably good. Like you can just hit creeps and eat these tangos and you're ready to go. Like your SF, for example, probably needs to go base. And like not that you should be telling him that, but I'm just like thinking about what your team should be doing between now and like when the enemy's all alive is just resetting and then making sure your lanes are good. And your lanes actually are pretty good, given that unless there's a wave here. Is there a wave here? Yeah, I think you guys like, oh no, it's like back here because you guys killed it. So your lanes are good. So the only thing you need to do is like farm, and just be ready to go when they're alive. The T2 does not matter at all because we're not getting it. And putting any damage on a T2 that's not killing the tower is like not in and of itself an objective. There's no like there's like the objective in Dota is killing the tower, not like putting 500 damage on a tower. So like if you're not killing it, you might as well just ignore it completely. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Because pressuring a tower, like trying to take an objective, inherently puts you at a disadvantage. Like obviously like it's most emphasized going high ground, but like we just talked about it like with taking the mid tower, right? It's the same taking like a tier 2. Like you're at a disadvantage because you have to show heroes and give up information and put yourself in a vulnerable position to like do this. So we only want to do it when we think we're really strong, and we're obviously not super strong right now because like we've used ults, we've used spells, we don't have full health, so like it's just not worth it. So just for your own knowledge, in the future, you win these fights. Like if your creep wave was here. Like, if you already had a creep wave here and they're literally 5 dead for 20 seconds, like, sure, hit it. But if your creep wave's not here and they're respawning in 15 seconds, like, you're done. You're out. You're like, okay, we're not getting this tower. Reset, farm, and, like, what's the other thing you should be thinking about?
I'm loosely thinking about Roche, and I'm thinking about getting vision on their side while we can.
It's definitely Roshan, dude.
Yeah.
You may have not watched. I don't assume anybody's like watched all my YouTube videos, but I have a YouTube video talking about.
I watch your like. Yeah, I've watched your like original videos more, like from years ago, basically. I
Right,
haven't
right,
watched one
right.
of the coaching
There's a
stuff.
video called I haven't really been releasing videos recently, so but I don't know if you've seen the one that's like about phases of the game.
I
Um,
think I've seen like some of it. Yeah.
yeah, so like there's this phase in the game. There's like the laning phase, and then there's that like early. There's like the post laning phase, but like pre mid game phase, which is like from whenever the laning phase ends to like basically whenever you can take Roshan. Is
Yeah.
this phase in the game. And generally, it's kind of defined around when the carry gets like their second item. Is kind of like you could kind of think about it like that. Either A, we're ready to take Roshan, and like that can happen earlier for some lineups because like if you got a Slardar, you can just like take Roshan in 15 minutes, or Ursa or Huskar or whatever. But like in your average lineup where you don't have a really strong Rosh hero, you're probably able to take it around the time your carry gets a second item, which your carry does have a second item, and he's like working on his third item. So like you guys full health, full HP can absolutely go take Roshan, right? Like your lineup can take Roshan right now. So the only thing that matters is taking Roshan, sort of. Like that's like the next objective in the game. Like tier 2s, like pushing tier 2s is hard. It's best to get Roshan first, get the Aegis first, and then start pushing tier 2s. Because then you have like a way strong advantage and they really cannot do shit about it if you're like grouped up in a coordinated way. So
Yeah.
an immortal team here would like reset, make sure their lanes are good, and then like basically just walk to Roshan and do it, and like dare the enemy to come fight you. Because like
Yeah.
you're like if in 60 seconds from now and everybody has all their spells and everybody on both teams is full HP, full mana, are you down to fight them? Like in a minute?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like if you do Roshan, they either give it up because they are afraid of you, or they try and contest it, and then you're like, sweet, we were down to fight anyways, and you fight them at the Roshan. Like when you're ahead like this, taking the Roshan gives them like really bad options. They either let you take it for free, which sucks, or they show up and try and fight you while they're behind, which sucks. And like, let's keep going. I don't want to like spend too long talking about this without seeing what you actually do. But like this, like, I mean, not that you have to like tell your team. I like what you're doing. I don't like what your team's doing. Okay, they do back up.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're pushing the lane. Yeah, it's the only thing that I would be doing right now is telling my team like, hey, let's go Roche bottom. Like, SF's like, I guess slowly regenning. Your trolls like come back to farming. Yeah, like you guys should just like, given that your lanes are good, this lane's good. Like one, like Coddle can sit here and defend mid, and like your whole team should be just coming down bottom and like taking Roshan. And I would be like, you're not a Roche hero, so like I don't like right, like it's not Axe's job to like do the Roshan, but like just as a player and in thinking about how you go about winning games, we've taken all the tier 1s, we've established a lead. My carry's strong. We've entered this like he's got like his second item. In terms of the game timer, it's usually somewhere between like 18 and like 22, 23 minutes, depending on the. And it's like it'll happen earlier at higher level games. Like immortal carries will usually have 2 items around like 18 minutes or something, and then herald carries usually have 2 items around like 23, 24 minutes. And like you guys kind of just hit this phase around like 20 minutes, 20, 21 minutes. If the troll was really strong, and then you guys like won a great fight, which is cool. And then, but like that's your timing anyways to be like, I should be thinking about Roche now. And like, yeah, if you've got like a Bat Rider mid and like a Slark carry and an Axe off lane, your Roche lineup your Roche lineup sucks. Like none of these heroes hit Roshan very well, and like this is gonna take forever. And like in those scenarios, maybe you don't do it right away, but on average, average game, whatever. Like both of these lineups could consider taking Roche around this time in the game, just because the heroes scale and do enough damage. So
Yeah.
kind of all you should be thinking about coming into this phase, and like that's just like the story of every Dota game, right? Is like laning phase, stuff happens, like some towers fall, the cores get strong, and then like Roshan should happen, and then we like continue, like whichever team's winning, right, wants to continue taking towers and taking good fights and stuff. And like Roshan just has to be like there in your mind starting around like 20-ish minutes.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think I have it a little further back or later in
Yeah.
my mind.
A lot of people do.
But
A lot of people do.
yeah, for me, it's like a. Well, I always try to take it whenever I can. I've actually recently been trying to push up the timing for that, but I think I am willing to take two. I haven't marked it as on average do it before tier 2.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting. It's similar to how you're describing the mid lane getting harder to push. It's like, or how we're describing the safe lane getting harder to defend. The Roche at this point, before they have their third item, BKB, Satanics or whatever, like if we're up at this point in the game before T2 is 20 minutes ish, it's very hard to defend for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you're set up and you have like any vision at all in the area, it's extremely hard to contest Roshan.
Yeah.
And like, you know, your games, you know, if you're representative of your average skill level, people will not be thinking about Roshan until later. Like if you guys had just like I mean, you took that fight and it ended up going fine, like your team increased your net worth lead, but like if instead after that tier 2, if you'd all just kind of like farmed this way and then taken the Roshan, like they weren't going to group up and stop you, you know?
Right.
Like that wasn't on the radar. It's to like stop you from taking Roshan. And just the other thing is like if you think about, I mean, I don't know if you ever like watched like high level Immortal Dota. Like if you just go to the watch tab and like just, you know, just turn on a game that's pre like 15 minutes and then watch it for like 15 minutes. Like look at how like methodically they'll go do Roshan like as soon as the earliest opportunity presents itself. Like it really is just what it's a huge thing that separates like Immortal Dota from non-Immortal Dota is Tinker canceled our blink there. Okay, our SM died. I guess our troll's just enormous though. Yeah, but not enormous enough. Wowza. Oh, he didn't even have his ults. Alright, I'm gonna like break the replay again, but I feel like we need to go back and analyze that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we wipe them. Back to bar, wipe them. This fight happens. We die. They die. Respawn. I mean, again, here, Roshan. You know, not gonna rehash everything I just said, but like, we're all alive. Let's go do Roche, guys. Like that's the only, unless like somebody's really close to an item and just doesn't want to fight yet, which they are not. And like item timings do like play a role in this. Like, do we go do Roshan now or do we go do it in 2 minutes? Is like, do any of the cores need like a big item or like really close to a big item? And like, you know, you have your BKB, Troll has his Anjanyasha, like SF, he's going Ags, but he's like not that close, like 1500 gold away. It's like whatever. He doesn't need this, right? He has BKB Blink. So like, there's just like sitting around and farming just extends the game without progressing the game, right? And like doing Roshan starts to progress the game. So like whatever, we already kind of rehashed, or I don't want to rehash that. Okay, so this fight develops. What exactly is happening here? Probably be a little more helpful if you're like looking with your camera at like what's happening, because like what did just happen?
Yeah, I have no
Our
idea.
SF just got picked off, right?
Oh yeah.
So like this fight that's about to happen is really bad. Well, and honestly, the fact of it is we don't know because we haven't looked. If SF is dead, but like 2 or 3 of their heroes are like below half HP, like if they had to get them, if they had to like take a bunch of damage to do that, then maybe this is a good fight. But like if they killed him and like none of them lost any health for the most part, like this is not a good fight. Our SF just died and they're like all pretty full HP. So this is like not a good fight. And your team's like sort of already committed, which is like really low skill. But like the correct thing to do here is to like back the fuck up.
Yeah, totally.
And it like you can only make this call if you're like more informed, which is like if your camera's here and you're like, oh, this is bad, and then I'm like running away and I'm saying back up. Do you use your mic at all, or do you just type?
I use both. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'd just be like, no, backup. I'd be telling my troll, no, 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 backup, 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 backup. And if you can get away and only lose the SF here, that's great. Like, you're gonna lose this tower too, but like, if your SF can just respawn and you guys like cut this tower and just farm, and this guy just like goes and farms or something, then you're fine. Like, it's not ideal that he gets picked off, but it's not a big deal. What makes these pickoffs worse is when the team follow up and commits and like feeds on top of it. And yeah, I mean, obviously we try to blink there, but like, we've already established this wasn't a good fight to take, and we didn't even know that walking in, and then we walk in and we all die. So that's the only thing that I would impress upon you there for you to learn is like you gotta check, because like if you had checked with your eyeballs, you'd have been like, oh, this is bad. And then maybe like would you before like I said it, and this was something that like you have an immortal player telling you, would you have thought it was reasonable to like just back away and like be the one telling your troll to like back up? Like, if would you feel comfortable making that call if like that's what you thought was best, or would you just be like, oh, my troll's already in, I better just go with him?
I think in general I wouldn't have called the back, but I call backs like that in general. I guess I probably wouldn't have called the back because I think I saw that I had a good call and I fucked it up obviously with the tinker.
Sure.
And then I think one other data point, like let's assume that obviously I was assuming I would hit that call and kill
Sure.
And then like a tinker. And then the second thing was if the troll had an ult. So like if in those two worlds, like troll, if I had like ensured that the troll had ult and I didn't get clipped by the march, I still go in. But on average or in general, I'm fine with calling that back. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and even if your troll has ult, and even if you are gonna land that call, like your SF is 15k of your guys' net worth, and before he died, and before you all died, you guys were up like 13k. So taking this fight without your SF is effectively you guys being down 2k net worth. In terms of strength. And like obviously you don't see the net worth, but like just to give you a sense of like, I don't know, for some people that like they're like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. And maybe it's like, okay, yeah, whatever, like gold doesn't matter, but you just on average, if you're starting a fight with like a pickoff, like on a major hero, like it's just not gonna go well. And usually, like in these situations, like you had time to like call that off, and then we just didn't. And we want to be more in the mindset of like, oh, we just call that off, like lose one hero, no harm, no foul, and like, you know, try again next time.
Totally.
And like, you're not constantly thinking about Roshan, but like if you're an immortal player in this scenario, you're like, okay, whatever, like we lost the hero, but like we just respawn and we go Roshan and we're fine. You know, like what they should have done off that fight, like, is get the mid tower and then haul ass straight to Roshan. Like they should be roshing right now.
Yeah, totally.
And if they rosh right now, this game gets way hard for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Like if they take this fight, win it, and then watch Roshan and take it, like this game gets really hard. And like they're not high enough skill to do that, but like that's why not taking Roshan when you can is really bad, because then the game just comes down to like a fight, like one random, like all the enemy needs is one fight to come back in the game. Because if Roshan's not taken, all they need to do is win one fight once and then take Roshan, and they're instantly back in the game.
Yeah, I think this is exactly like how you're calling, like, hey, you guys are strong as fuck, and as a group you can do literally anything. If you don't do that, you're coin flipping whether people are stupid.
Exactly. It's just a fucking coin flip. Okay, so your Coddle dies, but we get Rosh, so that's worth. Very nice. Okay, so yeah, it took a while, but we did get it, so that's very nice. And we're portaling? This is portaling. We don't have a TP up, so we're just chilling. Coddle's dead anyways. I would say somebody should clear bottom, and SF is, so that's good. And we did get their tier 2 mid at some point. I'm not sure when that happened, but... okay. So we want to push out mid, and then we kind of want to group up, right? Like we have Aegis, we're strong. We have all of our stuff. Unless somebody's about to get an item, which they are not. Yeah, we like want to group up again. So that should kind of be the call. Like clearing waves is good, and like whatever. Like I don't. This guy is. I'm just gonna clear top and like jungling a bit. Like that's okay, but like the enemy's not doing nothing, right? So if we just stay split up, we're allowing the enemy to like do a smoke play, especially if we're like showing, right? The SF showed down here, and then the troll showed on this wave here, and then you showed mid, actually. I'd rewind it if I could, but I don't want to break the replay again. But like, if you imagine the enemy perspective, right? They see SF bottom, and they see Axe mid, and they see troll. Like, can't they kind of just go kill somebody?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, they could just smoke in any direction and probably find a pick off on like something. Which is like, and you know, it's okay to like briefly do this, but then to like stay split up. Like, if you're gonna do this, right, the goal is to like push the lanes in and then group up, whether it's down a lane or whether it's like push the lanes in and then smoke and like kind of look for something on the sides while the lanes are giving you like decent vision, and making it not super obvious because the enemy doesn't know where you are, but like the lanes are in their face. Like, you could be doing anything, right?
Right.
So the correct play here is to definitely group up somehow. We see Drow and Word. Axe on average doesn't like to be clearing waves and showing, because the enemy now knows where the axe is, and then they don't have to be scared. But like, if nobody else is doing it, you should be doing it. So like ideally, like your Coddle is like doing this, or your Spirit Breaker, because he can like connect globally. Like if your Spirit Breaker is doing this, that gives them no information, because you guys could be smoked as 4 like down here, and then he would just connect anyways, right? Yeah, kind of what your Troll's doing is really low skill. Like getting the Aegis, then hitting creeps when he's not close to an item, like makes no sense. He doesn't need this BKB like before you fight again, because he has Aegis. Like I wouldn't be flaming him, but I'd be feeling, hey guys, can we like group up somehow? So I have bots. No, but he has a TP. So like you guys can group up and go top. You guys can group up and go bottom. It's just like how are we gonna group up is the only thing that really matters in this scenario. We just get going on. Cool. Okay, well. They kind of went on you with only one hero. They didn't kill you. Okay, your SF is connecting. I mean, this is... what ends up happening here is just so funny. This is like such like... This is exactly what happens in like low MMR Dota, is like just like an uncoordinated attempt of like one guy to go on one other guy, and then everybody else is like, oh, I should show up to this. Like...
Yeah,
like
the
all they had to
goes...
do was do that in a coordinated way, and you die. Or like all you guys had to do was group up in a coordinated way, and then like they get stomps for that play. And instead nobody's grouped up. So like now this chaotic fight is gonna happen like off of some random ass initiation that was like really stupid.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're kind of on the edge of the fight. We're walking around. I like this. I like this a lot. Oh, our blink. Oh, that didn't cancel our blink. Okay, nice. I was gonna say, like, you should be looking for Drow, Tinker, Sniper, which it kind of looked like you were doing. So that was like good, like team fight awareness to not just like run at the primal beast right in front of your face.
Right.
Okay, so we won fights. So like what I'm looking at with my eyeballs, like if I'm you right now, is the map. What does the map look like? Okay, top lane's pretty good. Bottom lane's pretty good. So they have 3 heroes dead, including their 2 high ground heroes. So like, I'm kind of down to go mid. Yep. What do you want to do right here? Like, what do you think your team should do?
Yeah, I'm in the same situation. We're not like the decision is between bot and mid, but I think I want to go mid with a Aegis.
Okay. The only other thing I would consider doing, or that I would do, because they've got a bunch of heroes dead, they can't punish you, is like cutting this wave here. Because we're already right here. Fair. Like cutting this wave here is like very high skill, because then it's gonna shove this lane into this tower for you guys without like having to like go back here and like do it.
Totally.
And that in and of itself isn't super important, except that like whenever this push mid happens, or this what's gonna happen next ends, this lane will be in a good spot for you guys, which is just advantageous to you. So it just like sets up better map control for like 2 minutes from now. Cutting this wave does, versus like the lane being out here is not as ideal. I mean, it's like a small thing, but like
It's an accelerant, yeah,
But
totally.
yeah, it just helps. These little things add up. Like honestly, like if you're cutting this wave and then like this coddle like walks down here and cuts this wave, like your guy's map control is so high, off of like cutting these two waves and then like right and then you're both close to mid and you cut mid, and that's like something that like even like low mortar players don't do very well. But if you can like think to do it once in a while, like you're already here, it's really good,
Sure.
really good. Just pointing it out because that's what I would be doing. Okay, so they glyph. Gotta make sure we have our quelling blade in our inventory. Okay, so they glyphed. Oh no, what are they doing? I would have killed them for that. Like their sniper was dead still, and they're like trying to fight you outside of the base, and you have Aegis. So that's like they should die.
Yeah,
To me,
team's
that's like they should
kind
die
of
for that.
missing. I feel
Yeah, I don't know why your team's backed up so much. Like I don't know what Carl's doing. Oh, kill them! Kill them! Yes! Yeah, there's just really low skill from them to like leave the base against the team with Aegis when they have a crazy good high ground lineup. And this is just why you should be looking for them to make mistakes like this. Like this was just a mistake. And like when the Primal Beast came out the first time, that was also a mistake. But like their high ground is hard. They have a really good high ground lineup, like Tinker, Drow, Sniper, Jesus Christ. So if they're willing to fight you with an Aegis outside of base, you take that fight 7 days a week and twice on Sunday. Like jump at that shit. Be like, oh, they're trying to fight us outside of base. Let's fucking go. Even if that's you like calling the Primal Beast out here, like who's not a good call target, right? But like just start the fight on them, right? And like what you'd really want to do is like jump, call this guy, like kind of run backwards, like don't just stand there and hit him, and like you kind of want to like run around and like get ready to reinitiate on a backliner. But you see what I'm saying, right? Like in terms of just like this fight is way easier for your team than you guys trying to push high ground and like drill and sniper standing back here. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. I think the drag is really important in that situation.
Nice.
But they kind of just showed anyways, which was
yeah, and they'll just do that. Yeah, really nicely played there, even though you died. It's kind of worth. So really nicely done there. Buying back a bunch of heroes. Okay, so assuming your team gets out, skip ahead. Do you want to cover anything else in this game? Unfortunately, your troll died, but like I assume you guys just win, right?
We just win, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Any other questions you have about this game?
No, yeah. I think I'm gonna summarize a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, my biggest thing is like, yeah, doing stuff. Like, yeah, it'd be one thing if there weren't objectives in the game. Like my, basic game plan, let's say, taken to like a religious level, would work. But unfortunately, there are certain power spikes that have different semantics, like having like the BKB Satanic, Unkillable Basher, or whatever it is, right? Nullifier. That changes things. And as like a hedge against that, there are objectives that allow you to get stuff, like get this, in some terms, like super high net worth, 2 lives, right? So you have to take that. The second thing was about the T1. I think, yeah, there is just value there. And as it relates to what I just described, to add that into my calculus, it just boosts the value of that. So I understand that. And then I think, yeah, regarding the timing of Roche, yeah, I think it's a relationship between like, especially in a winning game or even in a losing game, it's just like at a certain power spike before, like the mega power spike item wise that I described later, like if you're up and you grab it, you are not only preventing coin flips, but it's just a free win in a sense. Like it's a hard contest for them. So I will push that up in my timeline of like this event occurs before T2 as opposed to roughly during kind of thing.
Good, yeah. And like think of it as like before T2s, but then like for the most part, it's like after your carry gets 2 items, which will be around 18 to like 23 minutes.
Yeah.
Unless you have a Roshiro, which like changes it. But on
Totally.
average, for your average game, that's like the time you look for.
Totally.
Did you want to continue or? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. Yeah, no, that's it.
Okay.
I'm just thinking about the next one. I actually don't even know how we're doing on time. So
Let's see. It's been like maybe an hour. We could look a little bit at your second replay. Won't spend quite as long as we did this game, but did you want to look at the second replay?
maybe we just talk about it. So yeah. Yeah, there are already actionable things for me to do off of this.
Mm-hmm.
You main offlane, right?
Sort of. I mean, I
Okay.
played a lot of every role, but like mostly supports an offlane. I would say, in terms of like games played and stuff.
And I think like everyone who plays ranked has like the same conundrum ultimately. Like I think it's easier inherently, maybe not until very high level, that like the person who takes more net worth probably has more influence, to be quite honest. I think that's where I'm at this point. So recently actually, like since we have so many like aura buyers as like top offlaners and whatnot, as it relates to what I was talking about previously, like when it was lower skill and I was just playing these characters that could scale in some way, right? Like Necro or like Timber, just undieable people who draw a lot of attention and uncoordinated people can't kill. That's less of an option now. And I have been playing mainly Axe and Underlord. But the issue with Underlord is that like I can't solo carry, right? I have to group up as 5, and if my team doesn't want to group up as 5, yeah, sure, like maybe I'll get the third aura, but I am not advancing the game state in any way. But I can't dictate that as much. All is to say, offlane feels pretty ass recently, as far as my influence over my team making smart decisions. I've been considering like I feel like Dusa and Lina are like the archetype of characters that maybe a booster would play. Basically, at this point, it's just like they're flash farmers. You can go ancients, and now like Dusa can even fight early. It just feels so much more free to grind that way. I don't really want to because I enjoy offlane more.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just curious what your response is to this in general.
I mean, I think that like you can still have like really good impact as like carries. Like as like an offlaner, you want to like you can only do what your hero can do like in any given game, but I don't know. A lot of what I end up like coaching people on is like you've just experienced is like making smart decisions around objectives and like setting up objectives, like checking your lanes and like should we have taken this fight? Should we have taken that fight? Like if you're thinking about Dota in a smart way and playing Dota in a smart way and like just commute, like even if your hero's not doing it, like I do this on support. Like that's a lot of why I think I'm a good support player is because like I am thinking about when do my cores want to fight? Like what are their items? Can we do Roshan now? Like I'm telling my team when we should Roshan. I'm telling my team like, oh, this is not a good fight, or I'm telling my team, hey, come defend this tower. Or like I'm smoking up my team. Like I'm like saying, hey, let's do a smoke here. Like you can do all of these things from any role. I would say it's actually a little bit harder is like carry to like, organize your team to like, right? Usually like as carry, you kind of want your team to like be doing stuff without you and then you like show up at the end. Versus like any of these other roles can really like take the lead on that. Like it doesn't matter if you play mid, it doesn't matter if you play support, it doesn't matter if you play offlane. I think the biggest reason that like people are lower MMR is like they just don't really understand how the game should be played correctly or like what is correct to do at any given time.
Yeah.
And if you have the right game plan in your head for how the game should go, and obviously this varies a little bit just based on the 10 heroes in the game, it's like what that looks like. But if you can kind of make a reasonable assessment and then do the right things at the right times, that the information alone and like the ability to like coordinate your team the right way is going to let you like gain rank, even if your hero and the role you play in that specific game is like not that great. Like you're like this KDA like 2-8 and 11, like you can win games on 2-8 and 11 if you're the one coordinating your team and doing the right shit. Even if you had a hard game, if you're like getting your team to do the right things at the right time, and like your hero just dies every fight, but like you guys did everything right and you always had Aegis and you like took smart fights and you can win doing that, So yeah, I don't think it's too much down to like the role you play or like spamming meta heroes. Like obviously that's good, but like that's just not why games are won and lost at like low MMRs.
No, I think
on average, like if you're somebody who wants to climb from legend or from ancient to low immortal, like those are not the things that are like really holding you back.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I think there are like two ways of the way I describe the game, or the way I'm not really pushing for it, but the way I started this conversation is the way of you can kind of turn off your brain and just be like, well, I am this much better mechanically at these very isolated, siloed aspects of the game. Leave the rest up for chance, but I think you're proposing a much more like team-oriented way of playing, and also like just like getting people to do shit that's good, basically, or preventing them from doing bad shit by suggesting something else.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, and that's not to say that like I've played, given that I've played lots of games of Dota, I've of course played lots of games where my teammates are idiots and like they don't want to coordinate and they don't want to group up, and like of course some games are just unwinnable, right? Like ignoring the unwinnable games, like that fight mid where it started with the SF getting picked off, like you can say I'm not joining this and like just go about your farming and telling your team like, hey, I think we should back, I'm not gonna come, and then like, okay, if they all go die anyways, sure, but like you didn't go die. So even if your teammates are doing dumb things, like you can still make smart decisions for yourself that will like on average increase your chances of like winning the game, right? Like if that exact same thing happens, but the axe didn't die, even though everybody else died, like that's just better than like if you had also like then you also running in and dying, right? Like everybody's gonna die anyways. It's better that you just don't.
Right.
So like kind of smaller decisions like that, even if your team's playing not smart, or like I have a cousin who plays a lot and he's like Divine 2 carry. I've actually just posted a couple of his replay analysis videos. But like I'm telling him the replay analysis, like, oh, you guys need to go do Roche here. You guys need to go do Roche here. And like, so he messages me on Discord and he's like, yeah, I'm trying to tell my team to do Roche and they just won't. Like, I can't get them to like go do it. And like that just happens. Like if you replay this exact game and you know everything I just told you and you're telling your team to Roche and they just don't, like there's nothing you could do about that, Right. So like, you could have shown me this replay and said, oh yeah, the whole time that like I was telling my team to Roche and they just weren't, and I'd be like, okay, then like what you're doing is fine, given that they're just refusing. That just happens sometimes. So you gotta kind of want your team to do the right thing, and then also in a lot of cases you just have to be patient because they just won't do it when you think they should.
Yeah.
Like having this knowledge won't mean that like you're taking Roche on in every game at 23 minutes. Trust me, it's not going to happen. Even if every game you're telling your team like, hey, let's go do it, like it's just not going to happen. But the more often you can do that, the more often you'll get these games that are like very easy. Or like if you're the team that's behind and you wipe them, and then you're like, hey, let's go Roche right now, like the enemy team did to you, but then they didn't go Roche. Like if you're the one calling for your team, like from that position to like, hey, let's go Roche, like you've instantly gotten your team back in the game with like that call, as opposed to like what they did, which is just like back and fucking farm, and then you guys just respawned, took the Roche, and then ended the game pretty easily. Like, so,
Yeah.
yeah, matters from both sides for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if we have time, but like this kind of made me want to not play Gary, and I sent you a support video just right now. Do you I don't know. I forgot how much time we have in
Sure.
general.
No,
But,
we can keep going. We can keep going. I do this because I like it. You know, I'm not trying to. I'm not crunching my dollars per minute with my coaching. So,
Yeah,
I've had sessions go an hour and a half, and I'm just like, you know, the other person's getting a lot out of it, so it feels worth my time. You know.
yeah, it's really interesting. I think yeah, no, I mean I've been very interested in writing Dota educational stuff. I'm in education.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, I work as a software engineer at an education company, but I'm like very interested in pedagogy, and I've taught like things throughout my life. So I think you guys are doing God's work. But yeah, I feel as though I need a more like holistic view. Like there's so many. Have you watched this one guy? I actually really like him. I'm a lot of my ideas are kind of parroting what he says, but I know he has his biases. But his name is Balloon Dota.
No, I've never heard of him.
I think it's really interesting. I mean, you two are like the people that I watch.
Interesting. Okay.
And I think he has a very he's very opinionated, but I think it's to serve a purpose. I don't think he explains it, but I think his way of coaching is very scalable as a coach, right? It like requires less work, but I think he's really interested in like certain fundamental truths, but in a even more heavy-handed way than most people talk about the game.
Okay.
But yeah, it's pretty cool.
That makes sense. I mean, I think you can be like that, but also like Dota has so much nuance that, you know, I feel like
Yeah,
people would
I
nitpick
definitely
anytime you want to like say like, oh, this should definitely happen a certain way. It's like, well,
yeah.
but depending on what you're saying, you know, that could be accurate. Okay, so we're playing Weaver 4.
Yes.
I'm really sad that they changed his facet or whatever. I really liked the level 1 Germinate attack. Felt pretty good.
Yeah, it was
We're gonna
disgusting.
trade out with a Witch Doctor.
Yeah, this was a mistake.
That's not the play. It's not the play.
I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they nerfed this skill. Oh, it's not that bad.
Okay. Hit the void. Some damage. Oh no. Oh, okay. You were going for the void. I was like, what are you doing? Okay, so we have like no HP again. Are we flying out a salve like right away? Trying to stack. This is all fine, except that you don't have a salve coming. Also, I think the stack is definitely good, but it felt really bad that you didn't get any of the XP. I mean, it's good that our mag gets solo XP, but also like, we're still level 1. This feels really bad. Alright. Bugs, level 2, interesting. I think I would usually take my Germinate, just because, like, bugs are really good for, like, all-in trades, I think. Like if you're trying to kill them is when I want to use bugs. I actually played a decent amount of Weaver 4, or I did at one point, so, like...
Sure, yeah.
Like, typically the first 3 levels, like, you're kind of just, like, hitting him a little bit and backing up and hitting him a little bit and maybe scooching through. And that's where Germinate comes in handy, right? Because like you want to take Sakuchi at level 3, just getting the cooldown down is too important, I think. And given that you're not going to get Germinate to level 4, and like I just want you to imagine the number of Germinate attacks you would get off between levels 2 and level 4, versus like the number of times you're going to use bugs between level 2 and level 4 on average.
Yeah, I think that's a fair call out. Yeah.
Like, I just want to be annoying and hit them. Because, yeah, I mean, be bugs there, but, like... Wow, okay, we actually got a kill. I don't know if that was because of the bugs, but whatever. I want to float out more tangos, too. Oh, you do buy more tangos, okay. Yeah, definitely just important to keep your HP up, the regen. What do you take at level 3? Do you normally take Scoochie level 3? Or you want to take Germinate?
I think I'm probably gonna take Germinate.
Okay. I mean, honestly, like, it's not that bad. Oh, that was really nice skewer. Nice. It's not that bad. Oh, you do take Scucci. Being 1-1 is not too bad, but, like... I don't know. I guess it's fine. I guess in an ideal world, you could go 1-1-1 because you're not really worried about dying when Scucci's on cooldown, but, like, usually you are.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got the pull, getting the regen. Yeah, don't be afraid to, like, by itself. So I would say...
I'm kind of shocked that I'm not doing it, but
it's all good. Okay, we're going for another stack. Very nice. Got the urn. I think it's the only way to play it. Urn is so good. It's so good on for Weaver.
it's great.
Yeah. So the Wish Doctor's just fucking... Oh, there it is. He pulled. I was gonna say it's like gone. I'll go play for the rune here. Like, your mag's kind of chilling. And the rune's gonna spawn.
Yeah.
So, definitely position forward, play with the 6-minute rune. I mean, unless you're actively fighting, like, unless they start a 2v2-on-2 here or whatever, like, unless something is happening, you gotta go for the rune. The 6-minute rune.
Yeah, I think it's one of those.
About it.
Got it.
It's just so good. It's just so good. Like, the impact of denying the enemy the mid rune, and sometimes you'll even just pick up a kill. Like, as long as you're not like abandoning your offlane or like feed, and even if you are, like, if they just like chill and you get the rune, it's just so good.
Yeah, I think it's one of those just low elo like things, similar to like Roche.
Yeah, it's just like not in your brain. Yeah, it was kind of an interesting attempt. I guess it worked. Okay, it worked out. What's this guy have? Yeah, it's definitely an item build. Like, I think if this guy has stick or like a wand instead of his Bassy, and then he plays a little bit smarter, I'm not sure that works, but I guess whatever. It's not like you like die for it or anything, but just like I'm just like, how's this working? It's like just not playing well, I guess. Okay, we're chilling. Oh. As soon as he time locks there, I think you go all in on him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're gonna take some tower damage, but like urn bugs. I don't even think Magnesi's RP, honestly. As soon as he time locks there, it's kind of like you with Sakuchi, right? Like, if a Weaver uses Sakuchi in a stupid way, like, you just kill him. It's the same for Faceless Void. Like, I think that guy should die there. That was a psychotic. That was a psychotic time walk.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay, we're going for the rune, which is okay. Buying wanted raindrop, which is okay. Stacking, which is good. Got Chronode. Just kind of went for the all-in play on them. I'm gonna break the replay. Yeah, break the replay. I just want to watch that effect. Yeah. I can see how that happened. Unfortunate. This guy try and cue a Courier? What just happened? Well, I actually don't have too much to say about that after watching that.
Sure.
Be careful about going on a Faceless Void that's level 6, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think I like this TP to lane. Like, I think I just walk down here? Because, like, Weaver is very strong rotating. Like, you offer a lot. Like, you're just, like, a lot of damage, especially with the urn.
Yeah.
And, like, the slow. Like, I don't know. Like, it feels like this hero rotates very well. So, like, I would even consider... Like, there's nothing happening here. Like, yeah, there's, like, a creep wave. But, like, it's not dying to your tower at the moment. So there's no reason you need to be here right this second. So I would either walk bottom, or I'd even consider walking top. Like, there's like a Pudge Jakiro up here. Like you could fucking kill these guys, I think.
Yeah.
And even if you don't want to, like if you want to come back to this lane, like you just walk. It's really important to save your TP. Because like if you have a TP, like, you know, I'm kind of like looking at this, like, I don't know. I don't want to kill these guys up here.
Right.
Fighting them. And this is like kind of a, I think that the lower MMR you go, like the longer the lanes last. And like in my head, like once teams have level 6 and like especially like they use their level 6, like your mag doesn't have RP, right? Like you have to start thinking about like where can I go to have the most impact? Like you can't just like default go back to your lane just cuz. And like to me this just sort of happens naturally, so like I'm not sure, like I sometimes struggle with like sort of like I don't know what to say to like, you know, there's not like one thing that like goes into this decision, but it's really like lanes break down in Immortal at like 7 minutes. And like it's not to say that you can't go back to your lane, but it's like you really should strongly be considering like what lane you go to. And then keeping your TP up so you can help other lanes. Like a support. Mostly support is what I'm talking about. Like cores on average are going to be going back to their lane for a while, but even then they don't have to. Like they could jungle, they could smoke play mid, like these things can happen. But like as support, you want to be really choosy about where you're going, starting around like 7-ish minutes. Like maybe you die and you get a chance to like choose where you're walking or TPing to, or maybe you're just in your lane and you're like, I don't think we can do anything here anymore. Like you just have to think about it. You just have to think about it. Because if you're thinking about it and you don't feel tied to your own lane, you really can open up a lot of options and like make some really good plays that like, you know.
I do want to ask a question about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you? I think there's like a threshold there, and maybe the threshold is like, if I go top, there's like a 70% chance we're gonna kill them, because I think the counter is like, I think at a higher level, right? Like maybe it's like, I will trust that my mag will not feed while I leave, right? Like this mag might be like the player who's like, okay, I guess like your carry might be the carry who doesn't know like, yo, you got your like glaives or whatever, go do something else. You got your mask glaives, go do something, right? Go farm. And like your mag might be like, we were stomping lane, why'd you leave? And it's just like, oh well, it's because like you don't have RP right now, or like you're a Mars, you don't have arena right now. Like it's fine, you can just go back and just like accelerate farm. We're not taking this tower right now. So I feel like the confidence, I'm not sure if this is what you're thinking, but I'm trying to like decide, is it based on your confidence of how high like the kill at the other lane will happen quickly, or are you willing to go to that other lane and kind of just chill?
It's not confidence that a kill's gonna happen. It's just like where I think about it just in terms of like having like impact, and then just like leaving my options open. Like at this phase in the game, having 3 heroes in a lane is really good. So like if you go top, you guys have 3 heroes here, and like they probably will only have 2 until like they realize you're 3 there in my TP. But like it like kind of just opens up these opportunities, like potential opportunities to like just get kills because they won't realize you're there until you're killing them. And like yeah, I like the correct assumption is just like my mag should see that I'm not there and like he shouldn't feed. You know, that like him playing safer and doing a jungle camp, like whatever he needs to do to not feed. But then you're walking out to this lane, hypothetically. So like if you do need to go back to your lane, you can. You always are leaving the option open to like being able to go back and help your original lane. Like if they bring multiple heroes down there, and you think you can help or something, you know?
Yeah, no, I think the last thing you said is like the best way of saying it. Is just like, yeah, at this point, like suddenly a third hero shows up. Uh, whoever pulls that trap first has like a mover's advantage.
Typically, yeah.
Yeah.
And like a lot of times these will like and then you're forcing the enemy to react to what you're doing, right? So like yeah, Mag's down here alone, but then you're up here, and then all of a sudden Witch Doctor TP's up here, and that gives Mag like a free lane against Faceless Void, which like, okay, granted he didn't take a power, so I guess he's not like owning, but you know, it like relieves pressure elsewhere.
Yeah.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah, we're not really doing anything, and like, you know, I'm kind of seeing this on my mini map, which I am very encouraged to TP to. So you definitely want to be keeping an eye on your mini map, especially when nothing else is happening. Like at this point in the game as support, like being in a spot where nothing is happening is your cue to like want to go somewhere else. Playing around weak cores, which can mean they don't have their ult, or which can mean they just like don't have the item they need, or it can mean they don't have enough health to make a play. Like whatever that means, like playing around cores that are not strong is like not what you want to do. Like you want to play around your strong cores right now, and like you want to be where the action's happening, especially as a Weaver. Like Weaver just wants to like, it's kind of like an Undying almost. You just want to be like fighting. You know, like you want to be killing people or messing with people. And you're just kind of not doing that here, which is your indication to like not be doing this. Wow, I can't believe you didn't ult there.
Yeah, me too. I remember that happening and going like, oh shit.
Yeah, and I mean they killed the Punch Top without you, which is fine. Like they brought 3 heroes to your lane and then you died instead of Mag. So we're running out of base. We're watching what's going on top now, which is good. Running bottom. Doing some stacks again. It's funny you're doing like all these stacks and this Mag's like not taking power. Obviously they'll have it eventually, but and the Clinks can do them anyways. And it's also like worth considering, like, you know, like what do you guys like effectively? Do you and Mag ever kill this Void anymore?
Yeah, no.
Like you guys don't really have kill threat on this guy. Like you don't do enough damage before he can time walk to kill him. So like that is also an indicator that like your time is not going to be spent well here. Just like we just don't have kill threat on this guy. Like if Bloodseeker wants to come and we can rupture him, then yeah, we do have a lot of kill threat on him. But like without a third hero, or like, you know, Treant Overgrowth or something, like we actually just don't really have kill threat on this guy. So like let's go somewhere else.
No, actually that I think saying that is really important, because like I've definitely had the game where I'm like Axe and I'm behind, but like the guy isn't leaving and is trying to force shit, and I'm like, I'm fucking Axe, dude. Like, chill the fuck out.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so we're hanging out. And like you kind of do have kill threat on the supports that are down here, so like in that sense, like it's not terrible, but like, yeah, Mag's just not that strong of a core this phase in the game, unless they're like really messing up, because like without a Blink Dagger, he has no way to like RP them. So, oh my. Okay, we didn't die here. So when they're playing this, oh, your Clinks has come. Okay, you guys have decided that you want to
fight them. Just TP'd in.
Okay. Well, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. Yeah, I think we're a little slow on watching what's going on, but it's okay. Like I could tell you were thinking about this ward and you like smoked your Bloodseeker, but like the fight had kind of already started.
Yeah.
So that's just a minor thing, but that'll help, like, when we actually kind of lost this fight.
Yeah, it's a disaster.
Yeah. Well, it kind of is what it is.
Wild scare right there.
My thought, honestly, when you were like back here before I noticed your team was showing up, is like, if they want to put all these heroes in this lane, like honestly, like I would have just gone and pushed mid here. I clear this wave, hit mid tower, like trade mid for bottom. Like mid is a way more important tower than this is for you. Like if they really want to put like 4 heroes here, like I kind of want to let them, you know? Like free lane, least important tower on the map that they are like for some reason putting a bunch of heroes in front of. So don't feel pressured to take these engagements. I mean, your team like was showing up, and I don't know like if they just decided to do that or if somebody was calling to defend, but a lot of farm on the map to like take and like choose not to fight here if you know, and maybe we thought we could take that fight and then we were just wrong, and if that's the case, that's fine. But like I wouldn't have felt pressured to do that unless I really thought we were gonna win. The opportunity cost of going and doing some other going and doing something else like pretty high. So we like kind of come back to defend this again. Oh no, what's going on? Okay, all right, it's working out. Oh boy. Okay, looks like don't get hooked. So you're going Vessel. It's pretty good. When I play Weaver, I usually like to get like one other item because like this happens a lot where like you have to wand your raindrops, your urn. Doesn't really have to be boots or treads, but like I'll usually pick up a Wraith Band, which also like helps battling in the lane typically. I guess that's really all I would have. And then you can have like ward sentries, which you've had a lot of, so that's fine. But I'm not like opposed to like buying those earlier items. Sometimes I'll even get 2 Wraith Bands.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Very rude. Oh, I missed. Okay, chilling. Oh no! It's like very awkward for you guys.
Yeah, things are growing dire.
Oh no. Ah, rip, dude. Yeah, this is kind of just forcing it. And like, I'm surprised it's happening in a Legend game, honestly. But like, if the game is turned into like this, like to break the cycle, like you just have to like go somewhere else. Like, respawn and like just TP top and just be like, I'm just not fighting them for a couple minutes. Like, let's just try and get an item and like kind of slow this game down. Because like Weaver does kind of want to be doing this, but like it's not working for you guys. So. Oh goodness. Like the Phases Void actually made a very good play and like just like left and like pushed mid and got your mid tower. It's like good for him. Going Gleipnir now, or Atos, I guess. I usually go Gleipnir. Eventually.
Yes, yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay, so Lynx came up here. And yeah, at this phase of the game when we were position 4, I'm usually just looking to like kind of push whatever lane is open. So like this guy comes up here, and like you can't really jungle, right? So like I would probably just like go through the portal and like kind of hang around here and like shove this in, because you don't have any tower to defend. Well, you could defend this tower, but like I don't know if you want to. But like your mid tower's gone, their mid tower's gone, this tower's gone. So like we're in that phase of the game again. We're kind of just waiting for a carry to get like 2 items, right?
Yeah.
He's got 1. I just going Gleipnir, just kind of going 1 big item, right? We can't Rosh yet. So I'm like pushing in an open lane, or like, you know, maybe I'm smoking my Treant with Overgrowth and Mag with Blink RP, right? These are kind of your options. And these are things you want to be checking, right? Does my Mag want to fight? Well, he has Blink RP, so like maybe, right? Is he close to an item? Is my Bloodseeker has Rupture? Does he want to fight? Maybe he doesn't before he gets BKB. Like I don't know. Like maybe you like be like, hey, we want to smoke. Like Bloodseeker, do you want to smoke or do you want to get your BKB first? Okay, so we do kind of run bottom. I think it's good. There's something happening in your jungle. Okay, I kind of look, but looks like that wasn't helpful anyways. So given all that I think is good. I would be checking also what's happening in mid. Like it's probably not good, although they did just kill the Faceless Void, so like maybe it's good. And like we do have our TP up, right? So I want to check. Like, does this look good? Can I help this? And like maybe the answer is no. Okay, we do look now. And we couldn't go help, so that's fine. It's like given that we haven't, like, if we don't want to help, what you're doing is fine.
Yeah, I think I have room to be faster on that.
Yeah, and you know, everybody does. Everybody does. Nobody's like perfect, and nobody's like super aware. But like that's like the when you're doing the split pushy stuff, you're like you're doing it, but you're like kind of want to be asking yourself like, when do I like go group up with my team? Like if something's happening, like what you're doing is like not super important. Like you want to keep doing it while you decide if you're going, but like the main thing you're thinking about is, am I going to help my team? Not like, oh, I'm pushing this lane right now, or like, oh, I'm like going to do this jungle camp after, right? You're like doing it, but your focus is like, do I go help the team right now? And honestly, I do this sometimes too much to where I like won't be looking at my hero, and then all of a sudden they'll be going on me.
Right.
Like I spend a lot of time like watching like what's happening on the map and like deciding if I should like go or not go. Okay, we don't see anybody, so we back off. It's like kind of good. We do the Tormentor. It's like reasonable. Okay. I would consider smoking there. Like smoking off of Tormentor is usually pretty good because you're all grouped up anyways. We had a smoke, so and like, you know, maybe it turns into nothing, but you know, your group is 4 anyways, right? So coordinate a play, maybe.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I always have the hesitancy because I was just like, we're obviously all here.
Yeah. Okay, so they're kind of showing. So I kind of like what you're doing here, like just going to like open lanes that are like a little more dangerous. Kind of smoke yourself again. Interesting. You're doing that like the other game too. Wow. Okay. I'm surprised that worked, but just because it's like a tiny, like against another hero, that like it seems like it easily works, but
yeah.
Okay, so you TP bottom to go to an open lane. And now kind of we've reached that point where it's like, okay, when is Roshan happening, right? There's no tier 1s to take. Like Roshan's bottom, look pretty juicy. This guy has BKB flying out on a courier. This guy, he's only got 1 item, but it's like a Gleipnir. It's like kind of like 2 small items, right? It's like just 1 big item.
Yeah.
And we've got like Blink RP. Like Roshan is like on the table. Like, hey guys, right? Lane's good. Lane is fine. Maybe 1 hero sticks around and like shoves it out, or like D pushes it after Jakiro pushes it in, right? Like Treant or something. I'm like, hey, let's like rush, let's rush, right?
Yeah, this one's an interesting one. I think there is a good bet here that they're not thinking it. I am thinking like, I don't want to get Chrono like Macfired Witch Doctor ult. How much are you thinking that?
I mean, not at all. Like I don't make a decision to Roche based on them having good teamfight spells. Like I say, team, let's go Roche. I put down Vision, and then if they come fight, it's like, you know,
trust that they'll like dodge and weave correctly. Okay.
Yeah, like you just take the fight, but like, you know, obviously you can't like tunnel vision on Roshan and ignore the fact that you don't see anybody on the map, right? If that's the scenario.
Yeah, I just feel like I feel like not that long ago, at like Archon level, it's like I could still pick Warlock, rush Ags, get a refresher, and then just be like, oh, they clumped up and we won the game. Like, so I guess I'm like so close to that I'm like maybe overstating that.
Yeah. I judge our readiness to do objectives based on like the items and cooldowns that we have. Like you can't, I mean, unless you're like, and this is like a close game, right? Like you've been fighting them, and it's like, it's like a close game. Like we probably don't feel like we're super ahead here, but we're not super behind either. And like, you can't just like be afraid of their spells, so you never fight them, right? Like,
Right.
I don't think you guys couldn't like take a fight, given that like they don't, as long as they don't like 5-man chrono you in the macro pyre, which like it's probably not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's fair.
And you know, sometimes like you can make a call and then it can go wrong. And the main thing that was wrong with that call is just like you guys didn't execute very well. It's like actually I would do that again, and we just like fucked up the execution. Versus like, oh, that was actually just a dumb thing to do. Like there was no shot that was ever gonna work. We shouldn't have done that. Those are like different things. Okay, so we are going to rush. Nice.
Yeah, I think I think as Weaver, I call it a lot because I have like, I'm a sport. I'm thinking more macro.
Yeah.
And like I have armor reduction. Fuck it.
Right. Yeah, this is great. Perfecto. Now that we've taken Roche, like you're a very fast hero. So like as soon as my team as soon as like it was clear they weren't coming and like my team was about to take Roche, I would just TP mid. Because I'm like TPing mid, I'm clearing this, and then I'm clearing the next wave, and then I'm like running down and connecting with my team with like what we want to do is take this tier 2 after Roshan.
Yeah.
That's like really high impact things that like mobile heroes can and should be doing. Like it doesn't really make sense for anybody else on your team to go. I mean, I guess. I mean, honestly, if I was playing like every single hero in this lobby and I saw this, like I don't care who I'm playing, I actually just TP here. Like I actually don't care who does it. Anybody could do it. TP, push it out, you know, toss down. Treant's probably the worst at it because he clears waves really slow. But like even he could like TP in, whack, throw down a Nature's Grasp, and then just like walk away and like connect back to you guys. It's actually just so important because if like this doesn't get pushed by anybody in your team and you just 5-man walk down here and kill this, like they have so much space to farm right now. So like they can do whatever they want if nobody's like adjusting these lanes. They can like farm, they can set up a really good fight on you guys because we talked about like right pushing puts you to disadvantage. So like even though you have Aegis, like maybe they do like set up a really good like chrono, or maybe they get like a really good hook that, you know, reposition somebody. So like, but if you push this in, if somebody pushes this in, right, like clears this and then pushes this wave, and then you have creeps walking down here, and then your team's walking over here, it gives you a very good idea of what they're doing because somebody will either be defending here or they won't. And if they're not, that gives you a good idea that, hey, they're probably contesting this and like we need to be careful. And if they are, then it's like, oh, well, we can either push this because it seems like they're not, like we see them here, or like, oh, maybe if we catch somebody, we know it's super safe to go on them because we saw hero mid. It like kind of sets up this information. Okay, so your Bloodseer does TP, which I think is a good play. Like I said, I would do it on any hero. And so his job, and we'll see if he does this correctly, but like he should be like clearing this ASAP and then like reconnecting, and like you guys should kind of be like looking to move and play up this way and like play towards him almost until you guys have reconnected.
Yep.
Okay, so they go on you guys like right here and he runs back over. Your Clinks dies immediately. Wow. It's probably just poor positioning on his part. And honestly, not the end of the world. We got the Aegis. Fortunately, we lost the Clinks, but we just kind of chill. Like, I would probably go top here. Like, I just want to get these lanes pushed in. Like, while he's dead, nothing's happening, so, like, fix your lanes if you can.
Yeah.
Oh, no. What is this? What the low skill is this? Oh, man. Okay. I do not know what's happening here.
I think he pushed it across the river and then instantly got chronoed.
Yeah. I mean, this is just really low skill play from your team. I guess it's good that you were there because that worked out barely, but I probably wouldn't have even been there because I would have gone top.
Yeah.
So, kind of a psycho play from your team. If anything, like, you know, ITP top pretty soon, like pretty early before that even happens, and I'm telling the team like just chill, wait till Clinks is up, and then we'll do X. We'll push mid or we'll push bottom or we'll smoke, right? Just like chill until teammate is up and then do something. Wow, your Clinks is like a psycho.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Okay. Pushing this out more. I guess we don't have Aegis anymore, so that was like a weirder phase in the game. This is kind of dangerous given we don't see anybody. I guess it's fine because he's out tiny mid and Chikuro's dead. But like Pudge plus Witch Doctor like does kill you, so it's yeah. One. Oh no, he doesn't. So maybe they don't actually. Hypothetically, maybe not if you have ults. So we're doing a little jungling. In this phase of the game, like where we like Roche is not available, if we feel strong, we can group with our team on a smoke. I guess we don't have any smokes. Your train has one though, but like we just have to judge if our team's ready to fight. Like BKB, ulti up, finishing an item, right? Got his Dragonlance. He's about to finish an item. Like, right. Has Blink RP. Like, if we have all of our spells and all of our ultimates up, you want to be defaulting towards grouping up, because one of the teams is going to group up, and if it's them, they're just going to find a pick off on somebody who's split farming. And if it's us, we might find a pick off on somebody. But, like, high-level Immortal games, like these scenarios, like, teams will spread out and farm very quickly, and then they will regroup very quickly. And that's, like, kind of the... Like, doing that faster than them puts you in the position as the team that did it faster than maybe, like, smoked up to, like, find the kill. Because they haven't grouped back up yet. So the goal should be to, like, spread out and farm and clear the waves as fast as you can, right? Like, you don't want to, like, dawdle, right? Like, TP to the tower, push the lane, push it again, and then, like, reconnect with your team, right? And then somebody else does the same thing down here. Like, walk down, kill the wave, whatever, and then, like, reconnect with the team. It's like when, like... It's when, like, this happens, but then, like, we're doing some camps, like, we're doing some camps, and then, like, what they did is they cleared whatever their lanes, and they just smoked right away, and you didn't, because you were doing some camps, and, like, they get the jump on you guys.
Yeah.
So, and, you know, and you also base off of, like I check, like, items. Are we ready to fight? And if, like, and sometimes, like, you don't want to regroup as fast as you can, because... You know, X hero needs whatever item, and then you do want to kind of chill, and then you need to be a little more careful. But on average, like, if you're ready to fight, like, you kind of want to group so that you, like, if you're all ready to fight, but you're all spread across the map, like, it kind of doesn't matter, you know? You might as well not be. Okay, so we have grouped up here. And typically, like, I mean, you guys didn't see anybody up here, so I'm not sure why they all came up here, but typically you'd want to, like, group somewhere more in the middle of the map and then smoke and hunt, because you didn't see any of them, right? Like, we didn't see any of their heroes when you guys all grouped up. So, like, if that's the case, you don't want to, like, come way up here, given that Roshan's not up. Like, if Roshan was going to be up, obviously this would make way more sense, but it's not. So given that it's not, you kind of want to, like, smoke more closer to here and, like, be using your information from the lanes that, like, hypothetically have been pushed in as to where you're going to go, right? Like, if we're all here and we smoke, like, they're probably down here, right?
Right.
Like, like, they're not here and they're not here. So, like, we'd, like, walk this way, like, and I'm thinking maybe somebody shows mid, and if they don't, we, like, walk through here, and, like, somebody's got to be here, right? Like, what are they doing? Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, and so, like, we kind of did, like, so we grouped up, nothing came of it, so then we split up, farm, split push the waves again, good. Okay, we actually end up finding somebody, which is nice. Okay, we're not sure on the Roche timer, I guess. Steve Ward, so off this pick off, it looks like we're trying to pressure a tower. It's, like, kind of reasonable. The only thing you have to be careful of in this situation is, like, if they're gonna buy back and, like, how much they're gonna... It looks like you guys just really just executed this super poorly.
Yeah.
Which is kind of unfortunate, but that's like, I don't actually mind what you're doing. You just have to be like super careful about it. And it looks like you weren't. So unlucky, I guess. Wow, you didn't die. Ha, that's hilarious.
Yeah, the Treant ult was incredibly clutch.
Okay, so we're still hanging around. Do we feel strong? Guess we feel kind of strong. I definitely want to be carrying Dust against this Glimmer. I don't know if you know he had it before, but like moving forward, like as soon as I see that Glimmer, I'm like carrying Dust for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Okay, so that sort of worked out. So like we got what we came for. Checklist is like lanes. Is Roshan up soon?
Yeah.
Looks like Bloodseeker's probably working towards mid, and like bottom's obviously pushed out and Mag's top, so like that's kind of good. And then it's like just like Roshan soon, right? And this is where like the Roshan timing of the game like comes into effect. Like next Roshan's gonna be bottom, so I want to play for bottom.
Yep.
Right, because we knew it wasn't up before. But like next Roshan's gonna be bottom, so like I'm playing for bottom, I'm setting up bottom, I'm making sure bottom's pushed in. And like ideally somebody's like kind of pushing this into like to here, but like obviously you wouldn't want to be like here because they'll probably kill you. And that's really the only thing that matters until the Roshan is taken, is playing down here and playing for bottom. And like ideally like not letting them like get this lane pushed in for free. Like this mag should push this out a little bit, but then like kind of come reconnect, and this should get pushed out a little bit, but then like we want to be playing like down here and be ready to take this Rosh as soon as it comes up. And like maintaining control over this area. Right, so I guess we don't have any other wards. Oh, we have like no wards right now. Oh no, you have some on the courier.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, we've got, so we're checking, we've got the dust, very good. Black here. Curious to see what you buy next. Oh, you got Shard. Or maybe you got it from the Tormentor?
Yeah.
Okay, we're controlling for Roshan. We're kind of jungling in the area. Our team's moving down here. So this is like good. This is like reasonable. It's what should be happening. Yep. So some high level Dota. This is what an immortal game would be looking like right here. It's good actually that you like came and cleared this real quick while Roshan's not up. Yeah, it's like really good. Your team actually fighting them here, I don't think is good. Like I'm not sure what's going on here. There's just like low level players getting antsy, I guess.
Yeah, this was actually yesterday, and I was like, I'm gonna go clear this wave, chill the fuck out, and then that happened.
And then like go fight, right? That's where like the Radiant wipes your team while you're like not there. And you're like, I told you guys I wasn't gonna be there. Can't control your teammates though, you know? Okay, so like this is all cool, but like Roshan. You guys got that kill, and then like you have to remember to like back in Roshan. Like maybe you are. Oh wow, they just come fight you anyways. This is insane. Now they have no chrono. Oh, unlucky. Okay, back in Rosh. Okay, so we're thinking they're gonna come fight us, maybe?
No, we're good. Yeah.
Oh, Rosh went top because it took so long. Okay, so we back in Rosh. You're going damage. Interesting.
I do remember this game. Yeah, I just felt like I could kill the. I think I just felt like I could kill the supports basically. I was probably thinking like. I think at one point I was thinking like BKB of some sort, and then I was like, I don't really want to play BKB into Faceless Void Pudge, and then. I was thinking Nullifier or Damage, probably.
Yeah, I was thinking Aeon Disc.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like Aeon Disc, and then like in this situation, this game, like I don't know, like to me, I look at your lineup, like Lynx and Bloodseeker, and I don't think like I need damage.
Yeah.
You know? So like I'm thinking Aeon Disc and Not Dying Chrono, or like aura items. Like Vlad, or actually your Vlad's, but like you could buy drums, that would be really good. You could buy a pipe, I think that would be really good and make you hard to kill. Like, I think drums or pipe would be really good here.
Yeah.
And like Weaver can like transition to core from position 4, but like to me that's like either I'm owning like crazy, like I'm like 10 and 2 instead of 6 and 5, like I'm like owning, then I'll like kind of do it. But even then, I transitioning to core as Weaver from a support like needs to be more about making yourself like unkillable rather than like just going straight damage. So like if you want to transition to core, I'm doing something like Pike, Scotty, BKB, or like Satanic Scotty. Like I'm getting really tanky.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting items that make me do damage, but I'm also getting really tanky so that I don't just die. Because like your value is as a support transition to core is less that like you're the #1 damage healer, and more that just like, hey, I'm a big problem for you, and also like you have a really hard time dealing with me because I have like 3k HP.
Right.
So like just going straight flat damage and being easier to kill is like not what you want because you are at the end of the day like kind of a squishier hero.
Yeah.
So that's like how I think about transitioning to core. As kind of these heroes, like you need to make sure you're not killable if you're transitioning to core. It's like something I would do. It's like I would go like take this outpost like while my team's like trying to push. Try not to do that.
Yeah.
You know, ideally that's via the outpost, but like, right, not at the expense of like losing. I mean, maybe you couldn't have done anything about what just happened there if you were standing there. Like, I actually don't know, but like, I don't know. Aegis. Okay, in this scenario, pushing is actually not that good. Like, they have everything, and their lanes are good, which means all they have to do is sit here as 5 and like, you know, whatever, and like. Our high ground lineup is also not that amazing. Like, unless we're really, really counting on, like, Mag getting some blink skewer back. Which, like, it's not ideal, right? Also, they have, like, Pudge Hook and Tiny Toss. So, like, like going high ground against our lineup, like, into all this shit is, like, really hard. And, like, what do you do when going high ground is really hard? You just control the entire fucking map and get huge. This is actually like not a good push conceptually. And like honestly I could even rewind it another like 30 seconds because we probably could have anticipated in advance that this was not going to be good, but like pushing in this lane all the way and like backing up and like pushing this in and then like maybe getting this tier 2 is good.
Yeah.
And maybe they fight us at the tier 2. Remember how last game we talked about like how their like Drow Sniper lineup like came and fought you guys outside the base? Like maybe by taking this tier 2, they like come fight you outside the base, which makes life way easier. And then you take that fight. But like given that you have Aegis, you have the ability as your team to like control the entire map and get all your lanes in and like do whatever the fuck you want as long as you're like generally together and make sure you don't get picked off. And so, like, taking this fight and trying to shove here while this is happening and while, like, mid's, like, pushed in on your side is just kind of low skill.
Yeah.
It's, like, where kind of patience comes into it.
We can call it there.
Yeah, but, like, you know, as soon as you take this Roshan, right, the correct play should really be to, like, look at the lanes and, like, I don't know exactly where it was, but like this lane is probably like here, but like pushing in towards you guys, and this lane is probably like here, but pushing in towards you guys, and just like okay, let's like split up, farm. Like somebody farms their way this way, somebody like, you know, kind of pushes this lane in, but then backs up. Somebody can like farm this way. Somebody TPs here, pushes this in, and then reconnects mid, and we all kind of like farm this way, or like farm this way, or like TP farm, and then reconnect this way, and like push mid. Is what should be happening. And then we take this, and then like we can kind of like reconsider when the map looks really good as to like exactly how we go high ground. But ideally, we're looking for some kind of like pick off or team fight outside of the base instead of just going straight high ground against their team.
Yeah, totally.
Not close to an item. Not really close to an item. This guy's kind of close to an item, although it's not really a good team fight item. So yeah, those are my closing thoughts here. Obviously, this game goes on a lot longer. You guys do end up winning, but This is like kind of like rushing a push at this phase in the game against like a team that has everything. Going high ground is really hard if the enemy team is 5 alive and has every ability, and like their lanes are really good, because like all they have to do is like all 5 stand right here, like. So yeah, I don't want to keep saying the same thing over and over again.
No, totally makes sense.
Do you have any questions on this game, or anything else that occurred to you?
No. I think yeah, this is really good. I think there are like some things that we talked about that are just kind of like rules or heuristics, and then there's just like being honest and just constantly being like, did I ask myself this question during the game?
Right. That's a big part of it. And a big part of going, like, getting into those higher ranks is like not autopiloting, which is really hard to do, honestly. I was an autopilot player for a very long time, and I was like high ancient, low divine. And it took me like consistently not autopiloting and like really thinking critically, and listening to a lot of like BSJ coaching, who like kind of talks about these like more fundamentals of like how to control the map and stuff, and like really absorbing that and like being disciplined about it before I started really like ranking up into immortal, and then like getting into like better immortal. Is like really just doing this stuff consistently and fast. Doing it fast is very important as well, although like the first step is doing it consistently.
Totally.
Yeah, because then that's how like people in immortal can like look at games like this and like just like you could just straight carry it because you just know exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and you're going to do it fast, and like nobody else in the lobby is going to be doing it consistently, and they're all going to be doing whatever they're trying to do kind of slow.
Right.
And, it changes and happen overnight. Like me telling you that doesn't make you an immortal player, but the more consistently you do it, then the faster you'll start to do it. Like you'll start to think about it ahead of time, not just like, oh, we probably should have done this already. You get what I mean.
Cool.
Okay, dude. Well, thanks for signing up. Hope you got a lot out of this.